And a quick recap of the major breaking news we have tonight. Donald Trump is now the first former president to be indicted. And according to Trump's attorney just moments ago, he is expected to be arraigned on Tuesday. A Manhattan grand jury voted to indict Trump earlier this evening. Now, the indictment is still under seal by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, but expected to be announced in the coming days. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez joins us now from in front of Trump Tower. Trump is expected to turn himself in early next week, at which point the indictment will be unsealed. But, Gabe, then what happens?
Well, Gotti, there are certainly a lot of logistical questions that still need to be played out here. For weeks, law enforcement officials here in New York have been discussing the logistics and the security concerns concerning the potential arraignment of a former president, Gotti. And as you know, we've just never seen anything like this. So, of course, have to be fingerprinted. A mugshot will be taken. An open question is whether he'll be handcuffed at any point. Of course, he has Secret Service protection at this point. But again, the breaking news, as you just said, according to one of Donald Trump's attorneys, the former president expected to be arraigned here on Tuesday in Manhattan. And I should point out, Gotti, that just a short time ago, we learned of a memo sent out to all NYPD officers this afternoon. All uniformed officers have been ordered to report for duty at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Certainly a lot of security concerns here in Lower Manhattan and really across the city. But again, there have been no protests so far. And just what there has been, Gotti, is a significant amount of threats over the past several weeks aimed at DA Alvin Bragg. But again, that breaking news, and we now know that former President Donald Trump expected to be arraigned here in Lower Manhattan on Tuesday. Gotti?
And Gabe, I see some of the barricades behind you. What are you hearing about this indictment from the ground right there in front of the former president's New York City home?
Well, we're in Lower Manhattan. Trump Tower is in Midtown. But here, this is the district attorney's office. And this is where the grand jury has been meeting, Gotti. And over the past several weeks, there has been an increased security presence. Earlier this evening, we did see a huge security presence in the street just behind me. The district attorney, Alvin Bragg, came out, did not comment to reporters, his spokesperson only put out a brief written statement saying that his office had been in contact with former President Trump's attorneys to try and negotiate the terms of his surrender. But as soon as he got into a waiting car, he sped out of here and some of the police officers dispersed. But again, Gotti, as I pointed out, there has been an increased security presence here over the last several weeks. Just last week, we were here when the DA's office got a suspicious package with white powder inside. It turned out to be harmless, but according to law enforcement officials here in New York, there have been several dozen serious threats on the life of Alvin Bragg. And we've seen just in the last several hours statements from prominent Republicans really across the country slamming DA Bragg. The concern is among some law enforcement officials is that some of the former president's supporters might take that to heart and perhaps go further, even further than the former president called for himself. He called for protest a week and a half ago. That has not come to pass. But again, Gotti, we can just imagine the potential spectacle that is awaiting Lower Manhattan on Tuesday once a former president of the United States is arraigned for, again, we don't know exactly what he will be arraigned for. The charges have not been unsealed. But that could actually happen before his arraignment, depending on if prosecutors ask a judge to unseal that. We're still waiting for that at this point. We don't expect that tonight. But again, a potential spectacle on Tuesday as a former president of the United States is expected to be arraigned. Got it.
Not only a spectacle on Tuesday, it seems like it's starting right now. You've got people walking behind you taking pictures. Are people out there talking about how surreal it is that a person is now running for president while simultaneously trying to beat a conviction?
Well, Gotti, there are some folks behind me over the last several weeks. This has been a bit of a circus in the sense that there has been media here from all over the world. You'll remember that several weeks ago, it was earlier this month, not this past week and the weekend before, the former president posted on social media that he expected to be arrested last Tuesday. That didn't come to pass, but since that prediction, yes, there has been media here from all over the world. There's been a small number of the former president's supporters here, some of his opponents here as well. A short time ago, we saw a group of protesters walking by and chanting, but it actually had nothing to do with this case. They were actually peacefully protesting something to do with criminal justice, and the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams. So New York City, known for raucous protests, they're not shy, but in terms of a security presence here, we have not seen that, any significant protests here, one way or the other, over the last several weeks. But that doesn't mean the NYPD has not taken every precaution, realizing the unprecedented nature of this, and they want to make sure that they are prepared. Again, while we haven't seen those protests, we have seen a significant amount of threats at DA Alvin Bragg. And as for right now, although there are some people in the background and, it does seem kind of dark, there was a heavier presence before when the DA was in the building. Right now, at least tonight, it seems calm, Gotti.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.